A very warm welcome back to the channel, and depending on when you are watching this, Merry Christmas. If you do celebrate, I hope the day gives you lots of joy, whether spent with family, friends, or alone. Make the most of it, and please do take care and be safe. In today's episode, there is coverage on Alaska Airlines' purchase of Hawaiian Airlines, with more details being revealed on that front. Developments then shift towards Bonza within Australia and their peculiar 737 MAX operation, and lastly, an airline within the Air France-KLM Group has welcomed in a new aircraft. But on to the first story of today, and that is Alaska Airlines' landmark Hawaiian Airlines purchase, which is now being viewed as a saving grace for the island-based carrier. These revelations come following new comments from Hawaiian Airlines executives, who responded to concerns and outlined how the business was tracking. A deal between the two companies made headlines worldwide, as I'm sure you may recall, and the Hawaiian Airlines president and chief executive explained more about its circumstances in a tell-all letter to staff. Essentially, the letter acted as a means to resonate that a decision to be purchased by Alaska Airlines can, yes, be viewed as a shock. However, the overarching feeling was that a company like Alaska needed to intervene in Hawaiian to solidify its future. Hawaiian says it believes firmly in the strategy outlined by Alaska Airlines and thinks it can still work as its own brand, but under their arm. This would mean again that the Hawaiian brand would stick around and its iconic culture would remain. However, interestingly, the belief was that if Hawaiian Airlines had continued operating truly on its own without any consolidation or intervention, things would have gotten pretty dire pretty quickly. Alaska stepping in and making the purchase does allow Hawaiian to preserve what is unique about the company, while also in the background having the essential support to continue making all of this possible. Without Alaska Airlines, the future of Hawaiian would have been very, very uncertain, and without radical changes, a future may also have not been guaranteed. Alaska Airlines, as you may recall, announced it would acquire Hawaiian Airlines in a deal worth $1.9 billion just a few weeks ago. The purchase would be a means to combine two high-profile brands, while also retaining the core foundation built of both. The deal will make Alaska Airlines the fifth largest company in the United States, and its overall group fleet will grow to over 400 narrow and wide-body aircraft. The deal is worth, as mentioned, $1.9 billion, but this does include the $0.9 billion of net debt that was accumulated by Hawaiian Airlines over time. An essential component of the purchase will be that the two brands will stay separate. This means while Alaska will purchase Hawaiian, the latter's branding is intended to remain the same. Think of it to a certain extent as Jetstar and Qantas, two separate airlines under the same group. Alaska Airlines says the purchase is expected to be formally concluded within 12 to 18 months. However, a critical step to achieving this will be approval from regulators. Consolidation within the aviation industry has become more present in recent years, as airlines look to tie up deals following a pretty turbulent period. While consolidation within the market presents unique opportunities for airlines, there are concerns about the potential negative implications for the flying public. As a result, all mergers, purchases, and agreements are carefully scrutinized to determine whether a prospective deal will benefit all parties. Such a purchase of Hawaiian Airlines by Alaska will come under a fine microscope. Despite all of this, Hawaiian Airlines' CEO remains hopeful that getting a deal approved shouldn't be too difficult, as it is a purchase that will see a model that isn't already visible within the industry formed. The company will therefore use this to its advantage when it comes to approval. If approved, the expectation is that growth, discovery, and learning will all occur as the airlines best understand how to proceed and work together to capture the worldwide market. On to the next story of today that sits with Bonza. Bonza is Australia's low-cost carrier, one of their newest in fact, and has finally secured regulatory approval to fly more Boeing 737 MAXs. These plans to fly more 737 MAXs on a short-term lease were actually outlined some time ago, and as a result of the delays, the carrier was forced to cancel several flights while it awaited for the necessary approval. 2 additional aircraft have actually come directly from partner Flair Airlines, which operates the Boeing 737 in Canada. Bonza says the long wait comes following the lengthy hurdles around obtaining the required regulatory approval. In the case of Bonza, this was something also experienced concerning when they were securing permission to actually begin passenger operations. The Australian carrier, though, now with these new aircraft will be able to serve more destinations and bring more low-cost fares to markets across the country. However, probably one of the most important areas of this will be the opening of a new base. Bonza identified the Gold Coast as what would become its 3rd hub in Australia, thus joining Melbourne and the Sunshine Coast. The popular holiday destination has already seen several high-profile service announcements. However, despite Bonza's solid expansion plan, it does not have that required operational flexibility to serve these markets, hence why a short-term deal has been struck with Flair to service the Gold Coast base. While these aircraft are based on the Gold Coast, the other in-service jets at Bonza can be deployed towards key markets from their 2 aforementioned bases for the moment. Bonza is also working hard to meet the strong demand and response to the opening of the Gold Coast base. The carrier has commenced a recruitment drive to train crew from the next month to be deployed on Bonza aircraft. The carrier says it serves 14 destinations out of the Gold Coast. This includes Albury, Cairns, Darwin, Launceston, Mackay, Melbourne Avalon, and Melbourne Tullamarine, along many others. And again, these Flair aircraft will prove pivotal to launching some of these new services. On to the final story of today, that sits with Transavia, who have taken delivery of their first A321neo in a move towards the next generation fleet and a new aircraft type. The A321neos that have been delivered to the airline are configured in a single-class economy layout, with a total of 232 seats. Airbus says its A321neos are configured with the latest Airspace XL bins, which provide 40% more stowage space for a customer over the previous generation aircraft. Additionally, a focus is placed on making the boarding process smoother thanks to the added space. At least that is the theory of this. One of the newer and more technological advancements with Transavia's A321neos is the availability of the USB-C ports to every passenger at every seat. Transavia is adopting the latest Lightning system used for charging and connection. Transavia, as we know, is part of the Air France-KLM Group and has taken delivery of its first unit thanks to a lease with the Air Lease Corporation. Stated as a new chapter for the airline and the broader group, the investment in the aircraft family is substantial. What it also does is align with a mission to reduce the overall global footprint. Air France-KLM placed an order for the A320neo family back in 2021. As part of this deal, 100 units were ordered with options for a further 60. The expectation is that in January 2024, more new aircraft, especially the A320neo, will arrive, with later in 2024 KLM welcoming their own A320neo as part of a strategy shift. That is going to conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have any thoughts, you are more than welcome to drop them down below in the comments. Thank you so much for your support here on the channel. It really does mean a lot. Again, depending on when you are watching this video, as these are being recorded in advance, a very Merry Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful day however you are choosing to celebrate, or if you're not celebrating, we'll just have a fantastic day off, whether that's playing games, going plane spotting, or doing some housework. Thanks again for your support throughout the 2023 calendar year. It has certainly meant a lot.
And we'll fly.